Practice. A Christmas Carol, number 1. Charles Dickens is one of the great storytellers and creators of character. He was a particularly good writer of stories because he reportedly performed what he was writing in front of a mirror. This is apparently why there is a warmth, humor, and natural flavor to his writing. Here is the opening of his classic, A Christmas Carol. I am particularly fond of the description of Scrooge here. Marley was dead. To begin with, there is no doubt whatever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it, and Scrooge's name was upon change for anything he chose to put his hand to. Old Marley was dead as a doornail. Scrooge knew he was dead? Of course he did. How could he be otherwise? Scrooge and he were partners, for I don't know how many years. Scrooge was his sole executor, his sole administrator, his sole assign, his sole residuary legatee, his sole friend, and sole mourner. And even Scrooge was not so dreadfully cut up by the sad event, but that he was an excellent man of business on the very day of the funeral, and solemnized it with an undoubtable bargain. The mention of Marley's funeral brings me back to the point that I started from. There is no doubt that Marley was dead. This must be distinctly understood, or nothing wonderful can come of the story I'm going to relate. Oh, hello. Scrooge never painted out old Marley's name. There it stood, years afterward, above the warehouse door. Scrooge and Marley. The firm was known as Scrooge and Marley. Sometimes people new to the business called Scrooge, and sometimes Marley, but he answered to both names. It was all the same to him. Oh, but he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, Scrooge, a squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner, hard and sharp as flint, from which no steel had ever struck out generous fire, secret and self-contained and solitary as no oyster. Oh, wow, hello. The cold within him froze his old features, nipped his pointed nose, shriveled his cheek, stiffened his gait, made his eyes red, his thin lips blue, and spoke out shrewdly in his grating voice. A frosty time on his head, and on his eyebrows, and his wiry chin. External heat and cold had little influence on Scrooge. No warmth could warm, no wintry weather chill him. No wind that blew was bitterer than he. No falling snow was more intent upon its purpose, no pelting rain less open to entreaty. Foul weather did nowhere to have him. The heaviest rain and snow and hail and sleet could boast of the advantage over him in only one aspect. They often came down handsomely, and Scrooge never did. Nobody ever stopped. Sorry. Nobody ever stopped him in the street to say, with gladsome looks, "My dear Scrooge, how are you? When will you come to see me?" No beggars implored him to bestow a trifle, no children asked him what it was o'clock, no man or woman ever once in all his life inquired the way to such and such a place of Scrooge. But what did Scrooge care? It was the very thing he liked, to edge his way along the crowded paths of life, warning all human sympathy to keep its distance, was what the knowing ones call nuts to Scrooge. Alright. One heartrending scene after another, huh? Alright. Oh, that sounds lovely. In case you couldn't tell, I'm kind of sick, so I've decided this will be the last one for a while, especially with Christmas. I guess I'm going to take like a Christmas break or something, and try and physically recover over this stupid cold. Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas, yes. because Ryukishi is a jerk, huh? Well, I don't know. I can't remember that name. Too many people in this story. Alright. Anyway, we'll hop back into it. Also, maybe during the break I'm gonna have, I can try and reorganize my YouTube videos, things of that nature, get my channel refigured. Alright, so where did we leave off? Happy holidays, everyone. Indeed. The author. Alright. That would be why I didn't recognize it. Anywho, we last left off with sorry. Angie trying to summon all 7 of the sisters, and then flashbacks of her doing so earlier in the story. An old highlight from half a year ago. Interesting, cool. Which one was it? I've actually done quite a lot this year. It's kind of weird how much and how little I've done. Anywho, Angie was doing training practice, trying to get the 7 sisters up. We learned the difference between summoning and resurrection, I believe. Indeed, so much has happened. So much has happened. I've forgotten bits I've done. Where I got the computer? Still using it. This is on that same computer, and I still thank you guys for that so much. It's allowed me to do a hell of a lot. Just a hell of a lot. But this cold is kind of preventing me from doing more. Yeah, I think I had one cold or flu or whatever, was getting over it, and then got another one. So that's why the cough hasn't gone away. Anyway, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna aim for New Year's as just a generic chunk, and try and recover, get better, and get over this stupid cough. Try and sleep in, things of that nature. Anywho, happy holidays, everybody. And without further ado, I'll continue the story. No. Nobody's told me the name, and I haven't approached them because they didn't want to. But yeah, my benefactor of this computer is an unknown name. I simply know that they are a friend of you guys. Or a viewer of sorts. I might even cut this episode early, just because of these stupid coughs. But I'll try and hold out, see where we get to. In that case, let's start from Sakutaro's Uryu. In that case, which sound should we start the next word from? Ryu? Or you? From Uryu? I wonder. Maybe it really should be Ryu. It's rare for a word that ends like that to come up. Then I'm first. I'll do a word starting with Ryu. Ryuzu. Watch Crown. This is a Japanese game, in case you guys aren't familiar. Somebody says a word, like Ryuzu, and the last letter, zu, is the start of the next word somebody has to say. And you keep going like that. I wanted to go first. Ryoto, flute, would have been wonderful. Zu? Feels like we keep getting tough ones. Wait a sec. What order are we going in? Who's next? Ryu. I don't think it matters who. Whoever thinks of a matching word first. What's that? Sounds interesting. How about the person who can say the most wins? It's fast-talking Shiratori. Then I'll go. Zucchini. Niniku itame. Makabu with pasta. All of them delicious. I said 3 of them. Bells takes 3 points. Can you use conjunctions? If you could use with, then anything would work. That last one doesn't count. -1 point. Let's start from May. Then I'll go. Merengue. Ge. Gesuido. Umetasi. Chikachitsu. How'd you like them apples? Ane-sama. Those are all pretty crummy words. So what? Then why don't you try following up with something refined? Anyway, that's 3 points for me. The next one's Sue, okay? Sue. I've never played such a weird Shiritori before. It's fun. Uyu. I don't get it at all, but it's fun. Uyu. I've played normal Shiritori before, but I've never experienced a Shiritori this weird. There's only the lively 7 sisters, Mario and Achan, Sakataro, and me. I'm now surrounded by friends that are so fun to be with. The courage to accept a world of magic, a world of witches. That alone didn't change the fact that I was still locked up in an academy, without a single friend in my class. But despite that, I'm able to have such a fun and lively time. I'll also become a witch, like Maria and Achan. Tsuchigiri. Alright. And someday, I'll add my family to this fun circle. I'm not familiar with the word. I'd need the definition. I can read it. I can't understand the words. Not yet, anyway. Dad, Mom, and Oni-chan, and if possible, George Oni-chan, and Jessica and Achan, and the other relatives. I'll call everyone here without a single person missing, and we'll all gather together. This is my dream. That's right. Until I make that come true, I definitely won't lose heart. I'm sure you'll become a great witch, Anji-sama, as long as you believe in that. We 7 stakes of purgatory will always serve by your side until that day comes. You'll be there for me? No matter how long? You'll lend me your strength? Of course. After all, I'm your friend, right, Anji-sama? What? That's not very nice. Yes, that's right. Let's all stick together and play together. Alright, well, if we go Ujigiri, I bet I could go risotto as a word. There. Do that one. Yes, that's right. Let's all stick together and play together. Today, and in the future, always, always. Until the day your dreams come true, Anji-sama. The lively, 10-person game of Shiritori, alongside a street cut off from time, under the constantly bright rays of the sun, could have continued forever. Oh, I don't doubt you, but it's just such a weird thought of a word. Oh yeah, they're totally allowed to just try it out on random people. Wait, seriously? What's going on, Ushiramiya-san? In the end, I wasn't able to get a very good grade on my test. I tried memorizing things in my own way. But if you could manage anything like cramming the night before a test, no one would ever worry about tests. Normally, when you know the problems beforehand, you should be able to pass easily, right? Easily. It's true that we didn't go so far as to write the answers into the blanks for you. We thought you'd studied at least that much. What the hell? Come on, are you serious? I can't believe it. They're almost all wrong, aren't they? Did you really study properly? More or less. This isn't what you call more or less, Ushiramiya-san. It's so horrible that it makes me dizzy, okay? Oh god. Please forgive her for getting a miserable grade on such an easy test, and for making the average score for the entire class plummet. same test had been given in another class first. That test paper had been obtained, so the average score for our class had been unusually high, enough to obscure my slight improvement. However, there were some things I had no excuse for. If I'd spent that entire day studying like mad, I might have been able to get a slightly higher score. I could try maybe a Christmas episode, one for tomorrow, and then cut it off at that point if we get some more points. But I'll keep that in mind. We'll see where we go. But I hadn't gotten that far. After that, on that day, I spent the whole time having fun playing Shiritori with the seven sisters, Akutaro and One-chan. Sorry. As expected, the winner had been Maria One-chan. She was a strong player thanks to her wide knowledge of trivia. Akutaro had gotten the punishment game. Of course. He spent the whole time cheering for everyone else's answers, completely forgetting to think of any himself. Because of that, he'd been squished by the seven sisters and had his ears thoroughly nibbled, hadn't he? Hey, are you listening, Ushimiya-san? They were surrounding me, twittering like small birds. They were annoying, smelly. On the outside of that circle was Mammon, an exasperated expression on her face. This is a messed up school. No shit. Just like usual. Shouldn't you be more than happy as long as your own grades are good? It's probably because of that collective responsibility thing. Instead of worrying about their own grades, they're more concerned about how embarrassing it is for the class average to be low. Or maybe it's because they really hate the volunteer work they're forced to do as a punishment. Punishment? So in other words, they aren't studying because they want their grades to be good, but because of the collective responsibility, and since they hate volunteer work? They're jealous and embarrassed. They don't want to be inferior to anyone, and they don't want to be humiliated. That's the only feeling that drives them to study. What noisy people. If they want to study, why can't they just do it themselves? In the end, without collective responsibility and volunteer work, they'd have no desire to study. How foolish it is to study without knowing the meaning of studying. Still, these guys really are annoying and stupid. Don't you dare disturb Banyu-sama's precious day for even a minute. I hate those people. Just get lost. I'm hungry. Go away now. Sorry, everyone. I wonder why humans are so shameful. It's probably because, instead of working hard themselves, it's easier to make you work hard and earn them a higher class average to satisfy their greed. Humans are all greedy, and they'll burden others with their greed to make things easier for themselves. We'll eventually be reunited with them on the mountain of purgatory. When they get to the 5th terrace, they'd better watch their step. Mammon controls the 5th terrace of the mountain that reaches to heaven, Mount Purgatory. Since she's saying this, you can probably be sure that after those girls die, their journey to heaven won't be an easy one. No, on the contrary, let them just fall into hell. The class committee went to the student council and applied to use the classroom during lunch and after school. The purpose of use was for a class study group, a wonderful little gathering so that they could all surround me and make me study. I was so grateful I could cry. Which meant that every day, all of my lunch and 3 hours of my afternoon would be stolen. The academy and its student council, with its theme of student self-government, instantly approved of this pleasant activity that the students were talking up of their own initiative. In other words, I was no longer able to escape after school by leaving the classroom. This school is so messed up. After school, the first class study group meeting started right away. Would they open the textbooks and kindly and carefully explain so that even I could understand it? Of course, it didn't turn out like such a naive illusion. After school in the classroom, dozens of my classmates crowded around my desk. First, before we started studying, why were my grades so bad? What was the reason? It was decided that we couldn't start until I could clearly answer those questions, become aware of the problem, and show regret for my actions. Of course, there's no way for me to respond when asked a question like that. They've loathed me all this time, and they've rejected me and kept me at a distance, preventing me from joining in on their community. So I've avoided their community myself. There shouldn't have been any conflict for either of us that way. So even in this group that was enthusiastic about raising the class average, they obviously kept me at a distance. Even if I tried to join in, they would probably ignore me, like they always did in the past. If you just asked, we would have taught you whatever you wanted. Right? Right. They were getting themselves all worked up. I've already had enough of the hypocrisy of their tacked-on excuses. Ushirimiya-san, the problem is that you're lacking a cooperative personality. You mustn't be satisfied as long as everything's good for you alone. Those who gather in St. Lucia's place of learning shall have a cooperative heart. It's written right there in the student handbook, right? I think having a cooperative heart is what gives birth to the desire to study together and contribute to the entire class. I believe that itself is the thing you lack before you even start studying, Ushirimiya-san. But what do you say? Hey, have you even been listening to us? No. We went to all the trouble of staying after school to say this for your sake, right? I'm so grateful I could cry. Of course, they didn't like that. This way, it always makes it look like we're bullying you, they reprimanded me. Fortunately, I'm normally all cried out anyway. If I'm told not to cry, I can hold it back. First, I was made to write a letter of remorse and read it out loud. Of course, this was to be done by today. The class committee politely applied to the student council and the staff room for an extension of the use of this classroom. It seems it was accepted right away, which means that starting now, I'll be forced into self-criticism for at least a full 5 hours here. Ushirimiya Anchi got a low score on her test and caused trouble for her classmates. That's not it, right? You getting low grades and causing us trouble isn't the root of the problem, is it? It's a cooperative attitude, right? A cooperative attitude. Come on. Why do you even have to direct Ushirimiya-san on how to write a letter of regret? Their abusive jeers flew about one after another. I followed their directions and erased it. Ushirimiya Anji didn't have a cooperative attitude and caused trouble for her classmates. Hey, wait a sec. It's pointless if you just write whatever we say, right? Do you really know what regret means? It's pointless if you don't write it in your own words. Pointless. I always thought you were a bit strange, Ushirimiya-san, but you really are weird. Even following their directions didn't change the jeers much, and now it felt like they were mocking me even more. So, for several more hours, without rest, without even being allowed to go to the bathroom, much less dinner, I was continuously abused. I was coerced into writing a paragraph that humiliated myself. People can be cruel. At about 9 that night, I was told to stand up and read it aloud. The contents were smeared black with tears and eraser marks. It certainly was my handwriting, but it was like a list of soulless letters, whose contents I couldn't even remember. Everything had been copied down according to their orders. So while I had been the one to write the letters, they weren't my words. I had been coerced into writing them down, and even coerced into reading them aloud. Even after all this time, I was surprised to learn that, beyond just ignoring people and hiding their things, there are other ways to bully people. Hey, read it aloud, quickly! Look how many people are staying this late just for you, Ushirimiya-san. Why not thank us a little? Isn't the fact that she doesn't feel gratitude a sign that she doesn't have a scrap of cooperative attitude? It's okay, Ushirimiya-san. I'll always be with you from now on. Why not study with us and remake yourself? Okay? As I stood by my seat, surrounded by them, I dropped my gaze towards the blackened page. And then, I spoke those humiliating words. But right away, jeers fled me saying that they couldn't hear and to speak up. I can't read it. I had no idea that being forced to read a paragraph humiliating me would be so painful. My throat shook, my fingertips shook. The paragraph of humiliation written in my own handwriting made my eyes burn with a hot liquid. And my world blurred and twisted. I saw the girls surrounding me twist and bend. I saw them twist and bend into the impression I had of them. In other words, that was my true field of vision. Beyond that twisted crowd of people, I could see my friends. Compassion could be seen in all of their eyes. Angie, stay strong. Would you? Maria, One-chan, and Sakutaro were looking at me with sad eyes. Probably because they realized that even cheap words of compassion would hurt me. They kept alternating between trying to say something and hanging their heads. What the hell's wrong with these people? They're just the worst. Really pisses me off. What's so fun about gathering around Angie-sama and torturing her? It's a resentment they can't voice despite their jealousy. They don't care who it hurts as long as they can let it out. What horrible people. Angie-sama, in this kind of situation, it's okay to go mad with rage for your own honor's sake. Anger is an appropriate emotion and an appropriate reaction. It actually is. If you don't get mad now, when will you get mad? Stop it. Don't stir Angie-sama up with cheap anger. If Angie-sama could do that, she wouldn't have done it already. You should only get angry if doing so will improve the situation. However, from an objective standpoint, doing that now would probably only aggravate the situation further. It may be humiliating, but the wisest thing to do now is to withstand it. No? You really are a sloth, Belpha. Quit fooling around. I can't stand this. I can't forgive them. Nor should you. Everyone, calm down. It'll become a burden for Angie. A burden? What are you talking about? Is this the time or place to be calm? We furniture are not so cruel as to coolly watch when our master is humiliated. Angie-sama, you have no obligations to read such a humiliating letter. Not at all. You can't let out a cry of rage and at least throw it into the floor. You don't need to trash talk, though. You don't need to yell so loud that they'd bend over backwards. Just throw the notebook on the floor with all of your might. By doing just that, you'll be able to show your strong will. This cold's gonna be the death of me, man. Don't start running on by yourself, Mammon. I told you, right? If Angie-sama could do it, she would have done so long ago. You always have a choice. Nothing will be resolved by the eruption of momentary emotions. Can't you see that doing that will only make your treatments of Angie-sama even more severe? Why is this happening to Angie-sama when she didn't do anything wrong? Not letting her eat dinner and making her stay so long after school. I hate it! And it's not just tonight, but tomorrow and the day after too. That's enough. You can't simply sit there bearing this humiliation. Hey, are you really listening to us? Someone tugged at my hair. I was torn back into my tragic reality. I was no longer even permitted to listen to the seven sisters speaking on my behalf in my heart. My hair was lifted upwards. One of my hair ornaments came off, and I could hear the sound of it rolling on the ground. No one picked it up. To the contrary, they casually avoided it as though something filthy was rolling towards them. I tried to follow it with my eyes, but my hair was tugged upwards again. Why do you never listen to us, even though we're talking about something so serious? In one ear and out the other, is it? Does anything get into that thick skull of yours? Get a grip, okay? Are you really conscious of the trouble you're causing us? You aren't going to start saying that you just wrote it grudgingly because we told you to, right? Until you really show regret of your own will, this seriously isn't going to end, okay? It's not just for today. It'll seriously keep on going tomorrow and the day after, you see? Don't you play us for fools, okay? I mean, why are you still even alive? Is it normal to go on living like this? If it were me, I'd just die. You can't live like this, can you? Because you being alive just means getting in other people's way all the time, right? If it were me, I definitely couldn't live on. Yeah, I'd die too. If doing that's better for the world, then I'd die right away, right? Then die. Anji-sama. Kill all of them, now. Lucifer, can you hear me? You 7 Sisters of Purgatory are incredible furniture that can massacre mere humans in a flash, right? You're always boasting about it to me. Then do it. Massacre them right now. Right here, right now. Well, for some reason, Lucifer hesitated. Why? What's wrong? You're certainly killing furniture that can fly around faster than the eye can see, and instantly pierce the hearts of a witch's enemies, right? I'm giving you an order as your master. Carry it out right away. Kill! Kill them all! Anji-sama, please, calm down. If they had immediately followed my brutal order, making heaps of corpses with me at the center, I was ready to reflect on my own reckless actions of stealing human lives so readily, ready to regret and repent, just as they had wanted me to. I was prepared to do that, and yet Lucifer just let an unsure expression rise to her face, and didn't move to carry out my order. I knew it. Yeah, I knew it. Vaguely. No, that's not right. I've known from the beginning. I've known that magic was all empty this whole time, haven't I? The 7 Sisters of Purgatory? Yeah, right. Stupid. So pointless. I've known it the whole time. Anji-sama. I glared into the worthless Lucifer's eyes, and pain seemed to accompany that gaze. As though she was being assaulted with a violent headache, Lucifer grasped her head with both arms. But it looked like she couldn't tear her eyes off my gaze. Though she was assaulted with a pain that grew more and more violent. Useless. Useless. I hate you. Disappear. You're nothing but a delusion inside my head. Hopelessness and disappointment. Resignation and a dream's end. A cracking sound like you'd hear from a frozen lake surface during a fierce winter rang out just once. At the same time, Lucifer's form, which was being tormented by a violent pain, stiffened in place and grew cloudy. It was almost as though a beautifully polished glass window had been heartlessly smashed and turned white from the countless fissures. And that was an accurate analogy. At some point, Lucifer's form had turned into a glass ornament of the same shape. Countless fissures ran through it from the inside, and as the head and arms collapsed, it crumbled to the floor. Lucini. Who's the 2nd sister? Leviathan. Carry out my order. Massacre them right now. No, Anji-sama, please calm your heart and listen. Wait, I'm not looking for excuses or backtalk for an answer. I want nothing more than a swift confirmation of my order to eradicate the girls who are humiliating me. If you're going to say anything else, there's no need for me to listen until the end. After the Leviathan also turned white due to countless cracks throughout her whole body, she fell over backwards, splitting into separate parts along her neck, hips, and arms. If she'd been smashed to bits and lost her original form, it probably wouldn't have seemed so brutal. But seeing the two of them halfway left over made the remaining younger sisters shake even harder. Why won't you listen to my orders? Why? Why? My apologies. Here, under the current conditions, the anti-magic power is extremely strong and... What's that? You can't do it because humans are here. That's your logic? Isn't killing humans what you do? If you can't do that, then what use are you as furniture? Die! Please spare me, Angie-sama. As she clutched her head with both arms, Satan also turned white and fell down face first. Apparently the neck is the most slender part after all. Her head slid off and rolled over to Belphegor's feet. You can't do it because there are too many humans. Then later on I'll call them into the shadows one by one, and you can make a bloodbath of all of them, right? With your current magic power, it may be easy for you to converse with us. However, you select the train to materialize us in the form of all of the humans here. I deeply understand your anger, but if you could use us to attack and murder everyone here, that would only make your situation worse. I know it's humiliating, but please control your anger for the time being. Oh, thank you for the follow. Will I get the same answer from the next three? Are you going to tell me you can't do it because the anti-magic power is too great? Are you going to tell me you can't do it because my magical power is too weak? Then I won't ask you to kill all of them. Just one person's fine, so try and kill them. Right here, right now. As Asmodeus and Beelzebub held each other, they crouched down, cringing in fear under my glare. If they'd been able to obey my orders, they probably would have carried it out immediately. And yet, here they were, crouching down, empty, sad, and pathetic. That's right, I've known. These girls can't even touch reality with one of their fingers. No, help, I'm scared, help! Anti-Sama, spare us, I don't want to die! Die, useless furniture. Why are you guys even alive? Why are you alive when your lives are worthless? It doesn't matter if you die, right? Die! I'm telling you to die! Do you think any idiot would leave furniture that has no use lying around? Please stop, Angie-sama. What is it, Mammon? Are you gonna be only one to fulfill my order? That's right. You're my best friend. You alone will do it for me. Get them. As you are now, Angie-sama, even if you use us, you aren't capable of committing murder. It's furniture's duty to help with things their master can do. Things that even the master can't do, we can't do. Do you hate them, Angie-sama? You do hate them, right? I totally understand why you want to kill them. Okay, in that case, go ahead and kill them, Angie-sama. If you stain your own hands with blood, then we, the Seven Sisters of Purgatory, will go along with you however far you go. I'm asking you all, because I can't do it myself, aren't I? Isn't me able to do things I can't the thing that makes you furniture? Yes, we are furniture. Furniture to be used. Please, go ahead and use us to kill. You'll be the one killing, Angie-sama. If you're saying that you want to kill, then go ahead. Be my guest. No need to hesitate. Go out and carry it out right now. And once you've prepared yourself mentally, once you're prepared to dirty your own hands, then we'll help you. But you haven't done that, Angie-sama. Don't speak, furniture. You delusion. I get it already. You don't all have to tell me. You people can't do anything. You're nothing more than my delusions. Illusions. Daydreams. I haven't had a single friend from the very beginning. You're just a phantom. Pretend friend I created in my heart in my isolation, right? I've known from the very beginning. Yeah, that's right. We're an illusion inside your head, Angie-sama. But so what? Yes, that's true. We're just imaginary friends created to soothe lonely Angie-sama's heart because she doesn't have a single friend. But so what? You want to look at reality? Just look at it. You can stop looking at us and return to being surrounded and bathed with jeering over there. Come on. Go back. Welcome home to reality. Just call on us only when it's convenient for you and pretend you have friends. Then spur us on even though you don't have the guts to dirty your own hands. Then deny and erase us once you realize that it's hopeless. Yes, please enjoy it. I'll leave with a shriek of anguish just like you want, Kanji-sama. Just copy the jeering that you're being showered with right now. And do the same to us to get it off your chest. That's also furniture's duty. Getting slammed against the floor when someone's pissed off is also a chair's important duty. If that alone can absorb their master's bad mood even for an instant, there can be no greater honor for furniture. Kill me, deny me, your first and final friend. At the end, Mammon had a mocking expression on her face, but for some reason, it looked splashed with tears. Mammon, Beelzebub, and Asmodeus were smashed and fell to the floor. Alrighty then. Come over here, Sakutaro. Andy's a little agitated right now, so you mustn't get close. What about everyone else? Are all the 7 sisters alive? Did they die? It's okay. It looks gruesome, but those are the remains of their vessels after being deported from the healing world. Shells that have been shed. So it's alright. They're probably deeply hurt, but they're okay. Everyone is alive. I'm sure we'll be able to meet them again someday. Uryu. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Angie has violated the contract of marriage sorcery. To do such a horrible thing, even though witches of the Alliance must respect and accept one another, even though they were all important friends to you, Angie. No witches Alliance has anything to do with this. Magic friends? Give me a break. I killed them. Erased them. I smashed the 7 sisters. They're so cruel. So cruel. Just give it a rest with this playing witches thing. I'm begging you, Maria One-chan and Sakutaro. I want you to disappear by yourselves. Even in my imagination, I don't want to kill and erase you. We aren't your imagination. We're your friends, Senshi. Of you. Sakutaro said that as he hid behind Maria One-chan, sobbing. Sakutaro doesn't exist. Sakutaro is also an imaginary creature One-chan created to distract herself from her loneliness. It hurts. It hurts, Maria. Why? Why? Stop it. Denying my friend is the one thing I will not permit. The same power that had smashed the 7 sisters was probably eating into Sakutaro as well. But Maria One-chan was apparently protecting him with some other power. The Sakutaro's form didn't break and scatter. One-chan glared at me sharply. It was a serious expression that I'd never seen before. Sakutaro is my furniture. You cannot erase him, Angie. However, trying to deny someone is the greatest form of scorn for a witch. Sakutaro didn't exist from the very beginning. He's just a lying stuffed animal. A phantom you personified with the delusions inside your own mind. That's not true. Sakutaro is my friend. He was a stuffed animal once, but now he isn't. No, he's a stuffed animal. A stuffed animal made of cloth and cotton. He can't move or talk by himself. You're just talking for him like a ventriloquist, right? You call that magic? You call that a witch? You call that a friend? I can't accept that. Am I not me? Am I just a stuffed animal that can't really talk? And not Maria's friend? You. As though struck with a high fever, Sakataro weakened bit by bit. As he clung to Onechan's body, he did all he could to continue standing, but his body began to gradually slip down. As he did, Onechan held him, yelling at me as tears streamed down her face. Stop it! Don't burn Sakataro with the magic-resisting toxin! Don't bully him! Don't insult him! Don't deny him! Sorry, Onechan, you're so weird. There is no Sakataro. Stuffed animals are stuffed animals. I learned from Mama that they're made of cloth and cotton. There's no way they can walk or talk. Who do you? Who? Sakataro! Sakataro! You aren't a stuffed animal. You aren't a stuffed animal. You're a friend. Instead of playing with stuffed animals, it's better to play outside with everyone. I'm bored with stuffed animals already. I hate you, Angie. Why say something like that? I hate. I hate you. You're not my friend. I won't let you be one of us witches anymore. Upon my name, the apprentice witch of origins, Maria, I hereby expel the apprentice witch Angie from the Marriage Sorcery Alliance of Witches. And then, what had been peaceful days to me became a daydream, and ended. By now, it's impossible to prove. No one can verify whether that really was magic, or whether those really were my friends. Or else nothing more than a daydream. I, the sole observer, concluded that they were a daydream. That became the truth. Perhaps, in the farther future, I'll observe it again. And when that happens, maybe I'll acknowledge that it wasn't a dream. That the Seven Sisters really were my friends, and that along with Maria, Onechan, and Sakataro, they did everything they could for me in my isolation. Something so vague is neither the truth nor an illusion. Maybe the reality here and now is the only world with the real me. Where is the real me? The person standing amidst the girls exposed wreckage that resembled broken glass sculptures. That girl who's breathing harshly, her shoulders heaving, isn't me. I'm over there. The me that's surrounded by a crowd and being showered by jeers, and who's hanging her head, her eyes red. Isn't the me over there the real me? I won't dream anymore, because there's nowhere left to run. I'm going back. I'll return myself to the cage made of flesh. Hey, are you listening to us? It's not like anything will be resolved if you just stand there hanging your head, right? I hear you. Ah, you finally answered. You are thinking that this will end if you stay silent, and that we'll forgive you if you cry, right? We're asking if you're aware. We're asking if you're aware of the trouble you're causing those around you. I slowly nodded. I acknowledged it. I acknowledged that I had slipped into the world of my daydream, trying to remain separate from the others in my class. To separate myself from and disgrace those sisters who spoke to me with reliable and kind words, despite being totally unable to help when I really wanted them to. I acknowledge that. I, Ushirumi and Angie, do not have a cooperative attitude and cause trouble for my classmates. There is nothing to blame for that except my excessive inferiority complex towards all of my classmates because of my inability to study. And it's a shame that I'm alive. Starting there, I was no longer reading the paragraphs they'd made me write. It was me, improvising. And it was what was in my heart. They noticed that it wasn't what they had anticipated, but while they did frown, no one spoke. So I continued. That's right. It's a shame that I lived. I should have had them take me with them on that day in 1986. And yet, I was the only one who wasn't taken. Why am I here? This isn't the world I'm supposed to be in. No one will save me. For a time, I felt as though only the fictional friends I created inside myself could save me. But those friends were nothing more than a delusion, and they didn't save me after all. After all, this isn't a world of imagination, but a world of reality. So in short, up until today, I've been having the same daydream. I hated my real classmates and only lived by interfering with the friends in my mind. Just now, I split up with those friends. So I am here. I have no family. I've thrown my friends away too. There's no longer anything left for me. Why haven't I died? No one asked that a short while ago. I think they're right. Why am I alive? I should have died in the year 1986. No, I must really have died. And yet, my dead soul is still locked up inside this cage of flesh. So I'll ask someone. If no one answers, I'll do it myself. Please, let me die. I spoke that sentence and looked around. Dumbfounded girls, shocked girls, girls whose faces seemed to be saying, "What the heck is this kid talking about?" And, a bit late, more and more girls with faces that said, "Is this girl alright?" Whisper, chatter, and then giggle. When I ordered the friends in my daydream to kill, they couldn't do it. And so, I asked real humans to kill me. Of course, these girls can't do it either. In other words, both daydreams and reality are the same. Doesn't this mean that, including this world, absolutely everything is a daydream? Then, there's no problem, right? After all, on that day when I lost my family, I was already dead. Everything that happened afterwards is going on in my head, my life flashing before my eyes after I failed to die. Once I understood that, it felt like the scenery surrounding me began to twist and bend slightly. Now, I'll finally wake up. I'll be released from this daydream world. I feel my consciousness sliding away. It's alright. Fade farther and farther away, and take me to my family. Then, no matter what happens in this twisted, stale world, I won't mind it at all. I saw the crowd get pushed aside as the teacher stepped in. Perhaps the teacher doing the rounds happened to notice a strange disturbance. The teacher was vigorously shouting something, moving to protect me. Watching that, I knew that an ally had appeared for me, even if there's only one. I felt my awareness return very slightly. But yeah, I guess therapy is a requirement for an Ushiromiya. From what I can tell, anyway. The only ones who can save me in the world of reality are real humans. Never again. Never again will I seek rescue from daydreams. This is a world of humans. Nothing can save a human except other humans. I see. If that's what you think, then that's your world, Angie. Can Angie find happiness this way? If Angie believes that's the only way to find happiness, then it is the only way. If she can't accept the blue bird in the cage for what it is, then she must go and search forever. Who are you? Maria, are you breaking off relations with Angie? No, nothing like that. I only did that because that's what Angie wanted. We witches are sometimes persecuted. However, we always remain by everyone's sides, and our aid can always be asked for. Will the day come when Angie will play with us once again? Maybe. Or she might forget and it'll never come. In the human world, we call that growing up and saying goodbye to your childhood self. Still, if Angie just remembers, we'll always be by her side, and until then, we'll be waiting. Yeah, trauma can get past, but eventually the cycle ends because of personal choice. Choosing not to let it become a part of your life. It's not always possible, but you always have a choice in life. It may be ugly, it may be dirty, but you always have a choice for the things you can do. You don't have to follow society's rules. We still have another hour and I'm feeling alright. Let's see where this daydream train keeps going. Maria, answer me. Uryu, I really am. A stuffed animal? I'm made of cloth and cotton, so there's no way I can talk? So, I can't talk to Maria? Sakutaro looked up at Maria sadly. Maria's face was covered with tears, and it looked as though it had even lost all traces of sadness. I hear you, Sakutaro. You aren't a stuffed animal made of cloth and cotton. You are my friend. I hate Angie. Sorry, Maria. Sorry, Maria. Sakutaro regretted doing that. By freezing her heart, Maria had finally been able to escape from her sadness. By speaking up and calling her back, he'd caused her to be overwhelmed with sadness again. Sakutaro tried hugging Maria, letting go of her, and gazing at her uneasily, lost as to how he could bring Maria's spirits up. He might have looked a little humorous doing that. In the end, that was enough to distract Maria from her sadness. Sorry. Crying won't help anything anymore. You got in a fight with Angie, but you still have lots of friends, Maria. I'm not the only one. Everyone's here. Sasuke, and Sakuichi, the Anal Band, and many, many more. Maria looked at the many stuffed animals around her pillow, which were gathered together as though they were having an idle chat. Everyone is worried about you, Maria. They're all talking over and over about how to cheer you up, okay? Everyone won't go away like Angie? They won't. We'll always be together. Really? All of you are only with me at home. We can't go out together when Mama's around, and we can't go to school. You aren't supposed to take us to school, so you get in trouble if the teacher finds out. But if no one finds out, we can be together at any time. Sakutaro, you're big, so you'd be found. Then you can take one of the kids that are small enough to walk around with. For example, what about them? If you take the friends in the forest band, look, they're small, so you can hide them in your pocket and go to school together. There's a lot of them in the band. I can't put them all in my pocket. She collected all the forest band pieces that were scattered across her bed. There were about as many of them as pieces in a chess set, so it would probably be impossible to fit them all in her pocket. In that case, you can just take friends that you're especially close with. You can take the 4 rabbits, your best friends in the forest band. I could fit 4 in my pockets. Yeah, this way they won't be found. Now you won't be alone, even at school, Maria. Those kids will be with you, even where I can't go. Yeah, maybe I won't be lonely that way. Maybe I can hold out until coming home from school. As long as we aren't found by the teacher and Mama, we can hide with you at any time. Let's be together, play together forever. We definitely won't leave you all alone, Maria. Will you? Maria's expression finally regained a little of its brightness. That's right. In the beginning, Maria's world didn't have Angie in it. Even without Angie, it was fun with everyone. And yet, strangely enough, it suddenly became sad without Angie, who had come in at the end. All that's happened is that I've returned to the world right before Angie entered it, so there's nothing to be sad about. Yeah, I'm not lonely. Sakataro and the others are with me. Who are you? I love you, Maria. I won't let any more humans come into my world. Marriage sorcery is an alliance between me and Beatrice only. From the start, even Beatrice didn't want to let Angie join. It's alright, this way. Angie was still too young, says Maria. For now, until you can be friends with Angie again, I think it's okay to forget about it. You can play together once you've regained your high spirits, Maria. Until then, all of us will be by your side. Thank you, Sakataro, everyone. Then, Maria once again regained her former world. She regained the world that wasn't lonely, where she was surrounded by many friends. Just like usual, she didn't have any human friends at school, but her magic friends were always with her. The rabbit band she hid in her pockets talked with her during class, sounding like they were having fun. Just listening to that greatly embellished the time she spent in class. Maria made it so that, as long as Mama and the teacher didn't find out, her other friends could always be with her. When Mama told Maria to go play outside, Maria would secretly pack Sakataro and Sakase and the rest into her bag and play together at the library or somewhere. Even when Mama was late coming home and Maria went shopping for dinner, she always went with Sakataro. The men at the convenience store and the other people were nice to Sakataro. He sometimes gave a second portion free for Maria and Sakataro. When Mama found out, Maria would get in trouble for bringing Sakataro and the rest outside. When the teacher found out, Maria would get in trouble for bringing toys to school. The toxin must be strong in Mama and the teacher. That's why Sakataro looks like a normal stuffed animal to them. After all, the convenience store man and the others say hello to Sakataro. Not all humans are hopeless. There are tons of people who, unlike Angie and Mama and the teacher, can say hello to magic friends like I can. Oh, Maria-chan. Welcome. Was your mama late coming home tonight too? Yeah, but I've got Sakataro, so I'm not lonely. Right, Sakataro? Ooh, it's not just Sakataro today. Some other friends came too. Oh, other friends, is it? What kind of friends did you bring today? Today, the rabbits from the forest band are also with me. Look, in my pocket. Maria began to line up 4 ceramic rabbit dolls on the register. As the owner of the shop looked at it, smiling, he sent a signal to a part-timer with his chin. Then, the sign on the other register that said closed was taken down and a voice called out for everyone to move over there. All of the people in line behind Maria lined up behind that one. I see. You do have a lot of friends, Maria-chan. But I hope your mama comes home soon. Mama's busy with work again, so she's spending the night at the company. She's been very busy lately. She hasn't even been able to get much time to talk to me on the telephone. But I'm not lonely. I've got Sakataro and the rest, right? Ooh. I've even got all the reps from the band. Look. Cue, cue. Is cue, cue the sound a rabbit makes? My, I've never heard that. Just smiling at Sakataro, who was poking his head out of her knapsack, he played around with the rabbit band on the register, making them frolic around. Although the shop manager gazed at this pleasantly, he had slightly pitying looks on his face. This was apparently a single-mother household, where the mother had to work hard and couldn't come home very often. On top of that, it looked like this girl didn't even have any friends. As he watched her play around happily with her dolls and claimed that she wasn't lonely despite everything, he couldn't help but feel a kind of compassion. And actually, this wasn't limited to him alone. Maria had become quite famous in the shopping district. Maria-chan, you should eat some Odin every once in a while. If you don't eat your eggs and fish paste, you won't get big. Ooh? Can't get a cream roll? If you don't eat certain things, you won't get big. How about Odin for today? Ooh, then I'll have some Odin. Yep, that's the ticket. Why don't I stick a whole bunch in there? Want mustard? I can't handle spicy things. I see. Then, you make sure you don't let it spill on the way home. It'll sure be delicious while it's hot. Oh, thank you. She'd planned on getting some sweet pastries for dinner, again. But since Odin had been recommended to her, she would be having that tonight instead. Letting someone else determine the menu makes for an unexpected and interesting meal. Very often, Maria had to decide what her dinner would be on her own, so it was easy for the menus to get a little one-sided. So it felt fun to have a meal she hadn't anticipated. Ooh. Thanks for giving us extra, mister. Send my regards to your other friends at home. No stuffing yourself on the way back. Go straight home and eat it there. Oh, thanks, mister. Maria raised the bag with the Odin container high. Huh? What is it, Maria? The key isn't in my pocket. Standing in front of the door to her house, Maria searched all over her body. The key to the house wasn't there. She always methodically put it in the same pocket, so there's no way she had put it in another pocket, but she searched her whole body just in case. Unsurprisingly, it wasn't there. Did you drop it when you took your wallet out? No. When I took my wallet out, I definitely felt it. I also felt it when I searched my pocket partway there. Sure. It was there until partway. I didn't drop it. Even though the late autumn wind had been bearable when Maria had been thinking of returning home, where the heater was, now that she was confused and had lost her key, that wind tormented her. But no matter how hard she searched, she couldn't find her key. She turned out all her pockets and even tried taking off her jacket and hitting it, but to no avail. Of course, she'd also turned the knapsack Sagataro was in upside down, but the key didn't come out. Something that should have been there wasn't where it was supposed to be. Why isn't the key there when I didn't do anything wrong? Why isn't it? Why? Why? Maria was cold and frustrated and angry, and she stamped on the ground. The bottom of her foot throbbed, but that didn't lessen her frustration. At the same time, her tears poured out. It wasn't her fault. No, it was someone else's fault. But Maria didn't know who that someone was, and could do nothing but continue to let out a moan of anger. I'm sure you dropped it part way. Let's look for it, okay? Let's return on the road we came by and search, okay? Even though I went to all the trouble of buying Odin, and got eggs and stuff for free, I won't be able to eat it while it's hot. Maria, I know it's frustrating, but let's search, okay? No one's fault, so let's search. Maria finally lent an ear to Sakataro's words and began to trot back down the road she had come on. The wind was colder than before, and it felt like it was blowing in through the corners of her jacket in a mean way. Let's watch our feet closely and search, okay? Then, let's get home quickly, let the heater warm up, and eat Odin, alright? I'm sure it'll be delicious. Gone. It's gone. As Sakataro encouraged her, Maria searched for the key. But she made it all the way back to the convenience store where she'd bought the Odin. She hadn't found it. Just in case, she asked the man at the convenience store whether they had found a dropped key, but they hadn't found anything. One more time she returned home, paying close attention to the area around her feet. But, unsurprisingly, she didn't find it. She was no longer frustrated enough to stomp her feet, but hot tears dripped down her face. The Odin had cooled down completely, even though she had been told it would be delicious when warm. She hadn't been able to eat it, even though the man had given her so much free stuff. Don't cry. Mama isn't coming back tonight. Let's do our best and search. Why can't I find it? Maria, don't cry. Let's do our best and search. Maria. Maria was no longer able to hold back her tears. Sobbing, she clutched Sakutaro and held the bag of Odin, returning once more down the road she had come by. Perhaps, because more and more houses and stores had turned their lights off by now, it was even darker and harder to search than before, and once again, without finding the key, she returned to the convenience store. Maria-chan, still can't find your key. Oh, my key, it's gone. Wasn't your mother away for the night? You can't get in your house without a key? Oh, can't get in. Well, that's not good. Did you try going to the police? They might be able to help you. Mama said not to talk to policemen, even if they start talking to me. Oh? Well, why is that? It's probably because Rosa would be liable for making such a young girl like Maria watch over the house by herself, and because she knew that this wasn't something that would be permitted by society. So, Maria was indoctrinated into changing the story she brought things at, so that she didn't catch the eyes of adults, and into saying no more than a greeting to policemen, even if they talked to her. Maria had obediently done as she was told. Instead of considering why she must do that, she was much more concerned with meekly obeying because her mother had told her so. But the manager of the convenience store probably didn't think of it that way. In the first place, seeing such a young girl being forced to watch over the house alone, and so frequently, would make anyone worry. And then, after making the round trip between her home and the store once more, and arriving at the convenience store for a third time, a policeman was there. It's that child. Maria-chan, did you find your key? Didn't find it. What's your name, miss? The policeman asked her name, but Maria didn't answer. Did your mother tell you not to talk to policemen? Don't worry. No need to be scared of me. Have you eaten dinner yet, miss? I bought some, but I couldn't get to my house. So I couldn't eat it. What's your mother doing? Is she not coming home tonight? Is it her work? Do you know how we can contact your mother at work? Maria hung her head limply. She didn't understand why the policeman was getting mad at her. No, he probably wasn't getting mad at her, but as this reached her mother's ears, then she would definitely be in trouble. Even if she didn't understand the reason why she would be in trouble, she at least understood that much. But the policeman wouldn't let Maria go, and her head was swimming from hunger. The policeman noticed that, and it was decided that he'd listen to her story as they ate in the police box. Maria was taken into the police box. She had her Odin heated in a microwave oven, and even salty rice cakes and hot tea were brought out for her. She had been told not to talk to policemen, but after being asked about Sakutaro, she responded, starting to feel that this wasn't a bad person. And anyway, she wouldn't be able to return home now, so she didn't know what to do. She told him Mama's work phone number, which she had been told to tell no one of, and to use only in a very, very serious situation. In the tatami room inside the police box, she ate the Odin that was so hot it felt like it would burn her. She watched the policeman making the phone call, lazily thinking, I'm probably gonna get in trouble. Oh, Mama, get mad at me. Oh, you. He must have been listening to the phone ringing for a very long time. With the receiver up to his ears, the policeman looked up at the clock, grumbling. Maybe they aren't picking up because their business hours are over. Huh? Hello? Hello? Is this Auntie Rosa Limited? This is the Komatsugawa Police Department police box in front of Senbozakugura Station. Is President, Udaikan, no wait, President Ushomiya available? Yes. What? He's on vacation? Yes. Starting yesterday, the President has been on a 3-day vacation. Is there some business you have with her? No, never mind. So, do you know where she might be? You haven't heard where to contact her, have you? Sure. Would you hold on for a second? Hey, haven't heard where the President went for her vacation? Or how to contact her? I heard she was going for all-you-can-eat crabs in Sapporo with her boyfriend. Oh, I'm sure such a cold place will do wonders for shrinking the distance between them, don't you? I haven't heard how to contact them. Yep, understood. Hello. I hear she went to Sapporo, but I'm not sure about how to reach her. Could I take a message? I see. What a shame. Well then, if you manage to get in touch with her again, would you tell her that we called? Sure, yes. Alrighty then. After that, I was taken to the police department, which was even bigger, and ended up spending the night there. Then, they asked me various things about myself. A lady who called herself the district welfare officer came by and asked about a lot of things. I was told, "You poor thing." When I heard that, I learned for the first time. Am I a poor thing? Oh, you. That's not true. You're happy, Maria. Unlikely. Then, Rosa came back. Maria was told to go to her room. Was on her way back from the bathroom. She hid by the entrance to the living room and listened in on the exchange. The person who had come to visit was the female district welfare officer who had asked Maria various questions on that other day. You can't be so pushy. Maria's heart is too innocent and delicate, so if there was an insensitive kid there, she could be hurt. Please, stop your pointless meddling. In that case, miss, if the child is so delicate, why leave her at home all alone? Shouldn't a mother be together with her child? I am together with her as much as I should be. I don't need to take instruction from you for something like that. Oh, really? She's very well known in this area. They say your daughter frequently goes out at night to buy things and eat. Everyone was worried and looking out for her. How do you know that was my child? There's got to be plenty of children around this town, right? Don't just suddenly decide that it's my Maria. Kids sometimes walk around outside at night, right? How can you prove that they were all my child? It's well known around the shopping center that a girl holding a lion stuffed animal often stops by to eat dinner and buy things. Everyone treated Maria-chan with care out of concern for her. Sometimes people even escorted her home, thinking the night roads might be dangerous, you see. You can find lion stuffed animals anywhere. It was none of their business escorting her home. Are they thinking of kidnapping Maria? Don't bother her. Maria is my child. I am raising her. I have no intention of putting her in some strange institution. Stop your needless meddling. You. Is that lion stuffed animal? Need me? It's okay. I'm the one in trouble. It has nothing to do with you, Sakutaro. Maria hugged Sakutaro, continuing to watch her mother fearfully. I also wish I could be with Maria every day. But I'm a single mother, so I have to work. I may not look it, but I'm a president of a company, and I have a responsibility for my employees' well-being. I'm busy with my work all year round, so there's no time for me to rest. Really? But you've been on vacation these last 3 days, haven't you? I have not been on vacation. I've stayed at my company all night working. There's a mountain of matters to be taken care of that the other unreliable employees can't handle. Why are you lying like that? Someone for your company said that you were taking a 3-day vacation, you see. You went to Hokkaido with your boyfriend, right? Leaving your daughter by herself for 3 whole days. I don't know anything about this boyfriend, and I don't know anything about Hokkaido. Where are you getting this nonsense? Why? Why? Do you have any proof? What the hell? Don't just start butting in on someone else's family matters. I love Maria, and I have my own way of loving her, so just keep your mouth shut. I didn't go on vacation, I was just working the whole time. I was trying to finish up things at work with all my strength. All my strength, because I wanted to see Maria as soon as I could. I stayed at the company the whole time. I don't know anything about Hokkaido. I just go ahead and say something like that. Just get out. Get out. What's wrong with you? Get out. Get out. Rosa raged, her hair flying wildly. A teacup was knocked over from the force of her standing up. But far louder than that was the sound of her beating the table with both hands. When faced with this rage that could accurately be described as wide-eyed derangement, the district welfare officer couldn't help but be taken aback. And the same went for Maria, who was secretly watching this from the hallway. She had already seen her mother in a rage several times before this, but she had never seen her this crazed with anger. When she saw this, Maria was sure. This was no longer her mother. It was some other evil being that was possessing her mother's body. And then, she herself was discovered by the evil being. Maria knew that she was being reflected in the evil being's eyes. Her mind went blank. She felt as though her field of vision was racing off into the distance. After fiercely closing in on Maria, Rosa mercilessly slapped her on the small shoulders, and dropped her gaze towards the stuffed animal Maria was holding, Sakataro. Maria, even though I told you so many times not to take that outside, you brought it with you, didn't you? This isn't Maria's fault. I told her to take me. That's not true. I brought Sakataro on my own because I was lonely. Mama, it isn't Sakataro's fault. Maria. It's not Sakataro's fault. It's not Sakataro's fault. Instead of Maria, the brunt of Rosa's anger was aimed at the lion stuffed animal Maria was holding. The girl went shopping in the middle of the night, always clutching a lion stuffed animal. Because of that, she had become well known in the shopping center. Didn't I tell you not to take stuffed animals with you? Why? Can't you? Listen to what Mama says. Why? Why can't you follow Mama's rules? With every single word, she stamped her heel and banged furiously on the wall. Of course, she didn't make direct contact with Maria. However, the violence of the harsh sound certainly beat against her. Miss, stop that. Let go. I said let go, damn it. The district welfare officer had come back to her senses and was pinning Rosa's arms behind her back. But the instant Rosa was touched, she went wild, furiously throwing the welfare officer off. She hit the table and fell to the ground. A teacup on the table smashed on the floor, making a violent sound. Maria didn't do anything wrong. It's my fault. But don't scold Maria. I'm the one who brought Sakataro. It's not Sakataro's fault. It's not Sakataro's fault. But don't look at Sakataro with those scary eyes. Don't look at him. Don't scold Maria. Don't scold Maria. What were you doing just now, and a minute ago too? Do you also play with dolls like that outside? Did you do it in front of the people in the store? So that's why they remembered you. Ah, you brainless moron. Why are you such a dumbass? Answer me honestly. When you went out, you always walked around with that stuff down without telling Mama, right? Stop using that weird stuffed animal talk. Speak with your own words, not a stuffed animal's. Sakataro isn't a stuffed animal. He's my friend. Don't call him a stuffed animal. Don't. Yeah, I get it. It was called Sakataro, was it? You took him with you all the time when you went shopping, without telling Mama, right? Yeah. Maria admitted it honestly. If she hadn't admitted it, then Sakataro would have said something to take the blame. But by admitting it right away, she was protecting her small friend. Only Sakataro? Any others? You haven't been bringing weird things to school too, have you? Miss, surely your daughter has done nothing wrong. Stop this interrogation at once. You, stay quiet. I'm talking with my daughter, aren't I? Come on, Maria. Look at Mama when you talk. What's the answer to Mama's question? It wasn't just Sakataro. All the rabbits were with me too. Do you have them with you now? Maria fished around in her pockets, pulling out 4 ceramic rabbits with her tiny hand. The rabbits were her close friends who could be together with her at school at Sakataro's place. But when Rosa saw that, she shook her head slightly as though dizzy. On a school notice it had been written that Maria was apparently bringing toys to school and playing with them, and her family was instructed to try and prevent this. But Rosa had rejected that, blaming the teacher and phoning in a protest of her own to the school, saying that there was no way her child would bring toys to school. For nearly an hour she had shouted at the vice principal to stop making false accusations about her daughter. To a certain degree, those at the school had grasped that Maria was a pitiful girl. They knew that the small toys she brought in were her only friends, so they had done their best to overlook it. But when the other students caught sight of them, some of the boys had started complaining that only she could bring toys, and the school had racked their brains on how to cope with this. They had tried to gently send a warning by way of the mother, but after Rosa's overreaction, even Maria's teacher decided to overlook it. But now, Rosa knew. She had been the one who was wrong, and her daughter really had been bringing toys to school. Now, and those at the school had known that she was a disgrace who brought toys to school and played with them as though they were her only friends. To Rosa, who thought her daughter was just a little different from normal children, having this peculiar side of her daughter exposed and found fault with was, more than anything else, something she couldn't bear. Though she howled, she raged. The district welfare officer tried to come between Rosa and Maria again, but she only met with Rosa's wrath once more. Rosa once again threw the woman off with a face like a demon, and when even that failed to curb her anger, she stomped on the ground over and over again, so forcefully that it seemed she might break through the floor. Then, after seeming to come back to her senses for a second, she immediately froze her harsh breathing and asked Maria, those rabbits in the band, are they your close friends? I see. Isn't it great that you have a full 4 friends? As she said that, Rosa grabbed one of the rabbits from Maria's hand. Then she shoved it in front of Maria's eyes so that she could see it very well. The cute rabbit holding a trumpet was a small doll like a chess piece. She slowly lifted it into the air. Of course, Maria's and Sakataro's eyes also followed it. And then, with a speed that the eye couldn't follow, she smashed it against the wall. She had half imagined that this worst possible thing might happen, though she instantly realized what had been done. So, Maria let out a short, despairing scream. It was in pieces. It had been small and sturdy, but that hadn't been enough to withstand her mother's fierce rage. Because you didn't listen to what Mama told you, I broke one of them. From now on, every time you disobey something Mama says, I'll break another one. Remember that. Miss, you think you call yourself a mother after doing something like that? You think you can do something like that and not hurt your daughter? Hurt Maria? I'm also hurting, right? Who's gonna take responsibility for my wounds? Well, who is? Didn't I tell you to shut up? Stop it, Mama. It's my fault. Don't get mad at this lady. It isn't Maria's fault. It's mine. Don't get mad at Maria. Didn't I tell you to stop playing with stuffed animals like that? In the first place, it's disgusting. You say a stuffed animal's your friend. Just how old are you? How old? Well? This is just a gross, crappy stuffed animal made of cloth and cotton, right? Is this the only kind of friend you have? If you have enough spare time to pretend this monstrous stuffed animal is your friend, go out and make some real human friends. How can you never make any friends? That's why your class always treats you like a weirdo and makes fun of you. Give it a rest and get a hold of yourself already. Grow up from this stuffed animal play. Like I said, stop playing with that stuffed animal. Mama, give him back. Give Sakataro back. Mama grabbed hold of Sakataro's head and took him from me. Then, she smashed him against the walls over and over. It hurts. It hurts. I said stop, damn it. I told you to stop that stuffed animal act. It's because of this stuffed animal. That's why you can never make any friends. That's why you alone are punished off to the side of the class and treated like a freak. I should never have given you a stuffed animal like this. I should never give you such a disgusting stuffed animal. Stop it! Get Sakataro back! Get Sakataro back! Sakataro is my friend. My best friend. As long as Sakataro is there, I don't need anything else. So give him back! Give him back! For some reason, my frantic request just added oil to the fire of Mama's anger. Mama pushed my arm aside as I tried to grab Sakataro and snatch him back. And in a bizarre way, she stuck her fingernails on both hands deep into Sakataro, twisting him. The red muffler, which I had carefully wrapped for him every day, came off and fell to the floor. Sakataro, who had been so precious to me, was twisted, smashed, torn at with fingernails so much. He was twisted painfully, his face curving in sadness, and Mama's fingernails found a stitch on the neck and tore it. With the fingernails of both hands, she tore it apart. In that instant, Sakataro's yellow cloth and the cotton inside burst apart. It looked almost like moist cotton candy. Sakataro. Sakataro. The crumpled yellow cloth and the cotton candy flowing out were thrust right in front of my eyes. Then, through Mama's face, the evil being stated it clearly. Sakataro is dead. Mapagagu Gyudo. Yukugiko Kataro Sakataro Kubijita. Gudaro. Sakataro. Maria. Do not cry. Beatrice. Sakataro was a good friend. As long as you do not forget that, he will always be with you. So do not cry. Bring him back to life. You can use a lot of magic, Beato. You can even bring Sakataro back to life, right? About that. Of course, if Sakataro had been my furniture, it would be easy. However, Sakataro is your furniture. That makes it difficult for me. If you say it's difficult, that means it isn't impossible, right? Bring him back to life. Bring him back to life with the endless magic. Tell the truth. Sakataro's vessel was a stuffed animal Rosa made herself, correct? That Rosa has denied Sakataro. A life that is not permitted by its own mother cannot exist. Beatrice's words were feeble, because she knew that, no matter what the excuse, it wouldn't be enough to call Maria and make her accept it. But she had to communicate the painful truth to her disciple and close friend. She had to tell her the fact that even with all of her own power, even she could not revive Sakataro. As long as she continued to strongly believe in Sakataro's existence, that soul will not disappear. So, Maria, please do not be sad. Even now, look, believe that Sakataro is smiling right over there. No! You have to bring Sakataro back to life. No! Give it up. There is no magic to revive Sakataro. Despite that, you must strongly believe that Sakataro will continue to exist as your close friend. That power will become magic. That's not magic. You have to bring Sakataro back to life. You can't do it because Mama made him herself? Why did Mama make Sakutaro? It was to give him to me as a present, right? It was to make him my friend, right? So why did Mama make it herself, and break it herself? Why did Mama give birth to it by herself, and try to break it herself? I don't understand. I don't understand. I hate Mama. Hate Mama. Can't stand it. Can't stand it. Too sad. Too sad. Want to smash Mama like you should do to Sakutaro. Want to stick my fingernails in terror. Turn into cloth and cotton. I can't stand it. I can't stand it, Beatrice. Sakutaro. From the darkness behind Maria's back, two massive jet-black arms crept out, twisting around Maria as she sobbed in anger. Then, massive fingernails stuck into Maria's chest and stomach. Maria could not see that, but Beato could. Anger and sadness without any place to go will tear you apart. Beato knew that. She could see that. Yes. In the end, those massive arms were Maria's own. Those fingernails slowly started to eat into her chest and stomach. With their immense size and strength, those arms could probably tear Maria into bits easily. But Maria herself couldn't notice. Drowning in a sea of her own tears, she couldn't notice that her own arms were trying to tear apart her own chest. I can't stand it. Can't stand it. Sakutaro can't be brought back to life no matter what. I want revenge. Want to make Mama meet the same end. Want her to meet the same end as Sakutaro. Beatrice, teach me magic for that. Teach me magic to beat Mama. Is that truly how you feel? Kill Mama. I'll kill her. No, that isn't Mama. It's the bad witch possessing Mama. I'll kill the witch Mama. Very well. I shall give you that power. For tearing you and your beautiful heart apart. For giving you that pain. It is fitting that your heartless mother be torn apart considerably. I shall teach it to you. I shall teach you of the abyss in the world of witches. Of the depths where no light reaches. Sakutaro. Sakutaro. Hate. I hate everyone. I hate Mama too. Banshee too. I hate everyone. Everyone. Wow. Umineko no Naku Koroni. Rondo of the Witch and Reasoning. The world 12 years later, October 1998. And the, Sakutaro. Where is he? Next. Sakutaro, Lady Maria's white heart, which was torn apart. His broken vessel can only be regenerated by the Meister who created him, Rosa. However, Rosa disposed of the vessel's fragments and even lost the pattern paper. On top of that, his existence was denied by the Meister herself, so his resurrection is now impossible. The Meister died in 1986, and any chance for his resurrection disappeared for all time. Even the endless witch Beatrice could not manage it. But yeah, that was a pretty accurate portrayal of a lot of things. The author sure knows their shit. I don't personally know of a lot of these issues, but I can see exactly how the line of thought these people go through. And yeah, abusers, never my fault, always something else's fault. Her and the stuffed animal. The principal making up lies. Teachers lying. It's never my fault, never my fault. And it was the porcelain rabbits that she brought to school, not the fact that she's not there. And then there's the logic of the abused. It is my fault, and the only way to make sense of that, if they accept the lie, is to two mamas. It's not my fault, it's Sakutaro. Don't blame Sakutaro, it was me. And just fragmentation, because that's the only way it'll logically work out if they accept fault. I would not doubt that at all. You know what? I think now is actually a decent spot to stop. I did say I'd stop a bit early. God damn it. So I'll stop it here. Decent spot. We can figure out later. I may or may not have a Christmas episode tomorrow. I guess it'll depend on how I'm feeling and what we do for the day. But anyway, I hope that at least you're entertained with the story so far. May not be enjoyable, but it's at least a story. It's a tough job to do. Yeah, I would not want that one. But, you know, or Sakataro. And something like that just will kill someone's psyche. Giving and then killing their best friend in front of them and then going to kill their other friends while all laying blame on them, that's not healthy in the slightest. And with that, I guess, Merry Christmas, everybody. Don't tear apart your stuffed animals. It's not a very good thing to do. And take care of your own well-being. Always remember, especially with the Andrew one, you always have a choice. You don't have to follow their rules. You don't have to follow their abuse and their hypocrisy. Call them out on it. Or cut them out from your life. That's a healthy choice to do. Anyway, Merry Christmas.